Some of the most overlooked siblings in DC Comics have stories filled with rivalry, tragedy, and mystery. From secret brothers to forgotten sisters, these characters shape the lives of heroes and villains in ways that often go unnoticed by fans. They remind us how family ties can add depth to even the strangest corners of the DC universe. If you're into discovering these hidden connections, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more rare stories and surprising facts straight from the world of comics. Jason West and Iris West share more than blood. They both grew up under the shadow of Wally West's legacy. Iris is often in the spotlight, working as a reporter in Central City, crossing paths with heroes, villains, and the Speed Force in ways that give her depth. Jason remains mostly a background figure, mentioned in passing but rarely explored in comics or adaptations. His stories remain untold, leaving him more myth than realized character. Despite their surname, Jason and Iris carry very different narrative weights in DC lore. Iris's interactions with Barry Allen, Wally, and other key characters give her arcs of conflict, growth, and consequence. Jason lacks even that foundation, with no major appearances or defining moments. That contrast makes the mystery around Jason feel surprisingly potent. Blaze and Satanis are twin demonic siblings born from Wizard Shazam and a demoness. Blaze first appeared in Action Comics Thutcher 655 in 1990, and Satanis in The Adventures of Superman Thutcher 493 in 1992. Blaze is often portrayed as more ambitious, actively seeking to overthrow Hell's hierarchy and claim the Rock of Eternity. Satanis, while powerful, operates more behind the scenes, disguising himself as Colin Thornton and influencing events subtly. Blaze leads armies of demons, bends souls, manipulates Hellfire, and often confronts Superman in dramatic supernatural clashes. Satanis' power includes demonic sorcery, illusion, changing form, and even heavenly magic from his father when needed. They clash during Reign in Hell, where the two both rose against Neron, offering hope to the damned and shaking Hell's structure. Blaze ultimately seizes control, showing how much her presence overshadows her brother. Mammoth, also known as Baron Flinders, and Shimmer, or Celinda Flinders, are Australian twin metahumans who were bullied at school once their powers appeared. Their parents sent them to Markovia, where Dr. Helga Jace tried to teach them control and morality. Instead, they turned to crime together, becoming founding members of the Fearsome Five. Mammoth has super strength and durability, while Shimmer can transmute matter, changing one element or compound into another. They clashed repeatedly with the Teen Titans and other heroes. After a brief retirement in a Tibetan monastery, Simon murdered Shimmer by turning her into glass and shattering her. Later, Dr. Sivana resurrected her, reuniting the siblings in new villainous plots. Their story is less about their powers and more about loyalty, tragedy, and what it means for one twin's existence to define the other. Computo, known as Danielle Folkart, was a young girl whose life took a dark turn when Brainiac 5 attempted to cure her illness using advanced technology. The procedure backfired, allowing the rogue intelligence of Computo to take over her body. She became a vessel for this machine consciousness, nearly destroying the legion of superheroes before being freed. This event left a lasting mark on both Danielle and her older brother, Jacques Folkart. Jacques became the second Invisible Kid after using an experimental serum, gaining the ability to vanish from sight. Unlike many Legionnaires, his story is tightly linked to family, since his greatest moment came when he risked everything to save his sister. Danielle later developed her own ability to communicate with computers, reclaiming the name Computo as her own. The siblings remain some of the most overlooked figures in the future history of the Legion. Blackfire, also known as Commander, grew up resenting her younger sister Coriander for being chosen as heir to Tamaran's throne. Stricken with a condition that limited her ability to harness ultraviolet energy, she was considered weaker and less worthy of leadership. That bitterness consumed her, leading her to betray her world and join the Citadel. Her rivalry with Starfire became one of the most intense sibling feuds in DC's cosmic lore. Ryander, often called Darkfire, is the youngest of the Tamaranian royal family and rarely gets the spotlight. Subjected to cruel experiments by the Scions, he gained destructive energy powers that set him apart from his siblings. While Coriander found fame with the Teen Titans and Commander embraced infamy, Ryander fought with the Omega Men and was soon forgotten by readers. His quiet presence highlights the contrast within this fractured family. Lincoln March claims that he is Thomas Wayne Jr., Bruce Wayne's younger brother, a truth buried in rumors and half-confessions. Born prematurely due to a car accident allegedly caused by the Court of Owls, he was said to have been taken to Willowwood Home for Children, not raised by the Waynes. Though Bruce's parents supposedly listed him as having died shortly after birth, Lincoln suggests he survived, suffered abuse, and was shaped by secrets. March also aligns himself with the Court of Owls, using that alliance to manipulate Gotham politics, running for mayor and positioning himself in business. He confronts Bruce repeatedly, accusing him of responsibility for both the deaths of their parents and Lincoln's lost childhood. Bruce, however, remains unsure whether March is telling the truth, noting that without definitive proof like DNA in those stories, the claim stays in the realm of possibility rather than fact. Melinda Zuko, legal name Melinda Grayson Lynn, was born to Mei Lee Lynn while she was married to Tony Zuko. Her biological father is John Grayson, making her Dick Grayson's half-sister. Zuko raised Melinda in Bloodhaven, although always doubted her parentage. As she grew up, she was involved with circus life through her mother, never confronting the truth yet knowing something was off in her family's past. Melinda entered politics in Bloodhaven, becoming city council president and eventually mayor. In secret, she works with the FBI to undermine organized crime from within. At one point, she reveals her identity to Dick after he breaks into her home chasing leads, removing his mask in front of her. Later, she officially changes her surname to Grayson Lynn, severing ties with Zuko's name. Their relationship strains, but also becomes a path to redemption and truth. Jason is the long-lost son of Queen Hippolyta and Zeus, revealed to be Wonder Woman's twin brother. When Hippolyta discovered she was pregnant, she asked Glaucus, one of the Argonauts, to raise Jason away from Themyscira in secret so he wouldn't be harmed by Hera's wrath. As a male child born to the Amazons, his existence was hidden under old laws forbidding male offspring on Paradise Island. Jason only came into full view during the Darkseid War storyline and later in the Rebirth era, when more of his origin was fleshed out. Even then, his appearances are rare, with most focus in Diana's narrative and very little on his own journey. His powers mirror his divine heritage, strength, potential immortality, maybe even godly abilities. But without the spotlight, he often feels secondary. The mystery around where he is and what he's become offers rich ground for stories. Secret, also known as Greta Hayes, was adopted along with her older brother Billy Hayes. Billy, showing violent tendencies early on, eventually made a demonic pact to gain power and murdered Greta during a ritual. Because of the brutal nature of her death, Greta became a spectral being, unable to pass on, trapped between life and death as the hero known as Secret. As Secret, Greta joined Young Justice and faced both supernatural threats and the haunting legacy of her brother, who took the name Harm. She fought to balance her fading humanity and her ghostly powers while searching for belonging. In the end, Darkseid revived her, stripped away her abilities, and she returned to mortal form. Despite the tragedy and drama, her story remains one of DC's most overlooked. Cobra, born Jeffrey Franklin Burr, was one of conjoined twins alongside his brother Jason Burr. From birth, Jeffrey was stolen by the Cobra cult, fulfilling a prophecy that he would lead them into chaos. The twins shared a psychic bond, and Jeffrey could feel Jason's pain and fear until he used a device to sever the link. Raised by the cult, Jeffrey became the terrorist Cobra, clashing with Batman and other heroes in his pursuit of global domination. Jason Burr, left behind, was later recruited by government agencies to oppose his brother's influence. After Jeffrey's death, Jason was resurrected by the cult and eventually assumed the mantle of Cobra himself. His version of leadership restructured the cult and saw him infiltrate groups like Checkmate, though his presence in mainstream arcs remains far less recognized. The Burr twins' bond of rivalry and tragedy shows how family ties can shape even the darkest legacies. That was a look at some of DC's most forgotten siblings, and the surprising roles they played in the universe. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe so you never miss more forgotten stories from comics.